All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a massive shift in how our world works. Seriously, you can forget everything you think you know about traditional warfare, because the battlefields of the 21st century, well, they look nothing like they used to.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the whole thing. It flips our entire idea of modern power on its head. It's not about tanks and jets anymore. No, the real fight, the real struggle for influence is happening invisibly, all around us, through the technology and supply chains that run our everyday lives.
And this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the classic symbols of old-school power, physical, brute force. But on the other, you see the real tools of influence today. Microchips, server racks. Control over this digital plumbing, that's where the real power is now.
So what does this new battlefield actually look like? Well, that brings us to our first big idea. And you gotta understand, this isn't just about cool new gadgets. It's about who gets to pull the strings. It's all about control.
You see, power itself has totally changed its shape. It's not just about who has the biggest army anymore. Today, the people who can really steer entire economies, the ones who can shape the future for millions, they're the ones who control the flow of energy and the critical pieces of the global production line.
Okay, so let's talk about the real, physical price tag of our digital world. We have this idea that technology is clean, that it's abstract, almost weightless. But that's really just a myth.
The reality is a whole different story. Every single thing you do online, every search you make, every show you stream, every single line of code that's written, it all has a very real, physical cost. It burns through energy and leaves a real footprint on our planet.
And right here, you can see what those hidden costs are. That dream of a completely digital world, well, it comes with a price tag. A huge increase in energy demand, the incredibly intensive mining of rare metals, and a really fragile dependence on a few, very concentrated supply chains around the globe.
And that, right there, leads us straight into the new geopolitics of technology. Because in our rush to fix one problem, we might just be creating a whole new one. It's like we're just trading one dependency for another.
Just look at Europe. As it makes this huge, really necessary push away from fossil fuels, it's walking right into a new kind of trap. The continent is shifting its reliance away from oil-producing nations and right onto an even smaller group of countries that control all the essential parts for an electric future.
And wow, this chart really hammers it home. When you look at the must-have components for the green transition, we're talking batteries, solar panels, semiconductors. One nation is currently dominating the production. And that creates an entirely new kind of geopolitical pressure point.
So this really makes you wonder, right? As we're all racing toward this new energy future, are we actually stopping to think through all the consequences? Are we really considering the new strategic risks, the hidden environmental damage, and the social impact of this massive global shift?
But the battlefield, it shifts again. It moves from physical supply chains and energy grids to a space that's much, much closer to home. We're talking about the battle for our own attention. We're talking about invisible empires.
Welcome to the attention economy. It's a world where your focus, your time, your attention has become the single most valuable resource there is. And these massive, incredibly complex systems are being built for one reason and one reason only: to capture it and to hold it.
This means the whole game has changed. The biggest companies on the planet, they're not just selling you stuff anymore. They're in a bare-knuckle fight for your time. And in the process, they're actively influencing your behavior and literally reshaping how all of us see the world.
And all of this, it all boils down to one simple, but honestly pretty unnerving question about our own freedom. In this new world, are we actually the ones in control of our choices?
Or has something else happened? Are our thoughts, our beliefs, our day-to-day decisions, are they really ours? Or are we just reacting to a constant stream of content that an algorithm somewhere has decided is what we should see?
So, if we're living in a time where systems are starting to make more and more decisions for us, what's really at stake for humanity? This brings us to our final and maybe most important section, figuring out how to go from automation to awareness.
And this is exactly what's on the line. In a world that's obsessed with being perfectly efficient, we're at risk of automating away the very things that make us human. Our gut feelings, our ability to question things, and even our freedom to mess up, which, let's be honest, is usually how we learn anything important.
So what's the way forward? Well, the future isn't going to be won by the person who can write the best code.
No, it's going to be shaped by the people who have the guts to challenge things, to step back and ask the right, deeply human questions.
Because at the end of the day, the kind of energy we really need to get through all this complexity, it isn't just electrical, it's emotional, it's cognitive, it's ethical. That is the power source we have to start cultivating.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought to chew on. Maybe the next great leap forward we're all waiting for, maybe it won't come from a new device or a smarter algorithm. Maybe the real revolution has to happen inside our own heads.